Welcome to a new kind of gratitude. You're discovering how to appreciate life not just for the joys, but for its lessons. Those experiences that felt like endings were actually fierce teachers. They didn't shatter you, they reshaped you. Consider this: a seed must completely break open underground before it can rise toward the sun. Your transformation works the same way. The actions of those you held close caused real ache. That pain matters. Yet, it also served as a powerful release, cutting cords to stories that were never true and people who were never as they seemed. The fog is lifting now, revealing reality bit by bit. Your heart is mending into a different shape, more compassionate from the sorrow, more resilient from the survival, and more discerning because it has learned to see clearly. What led you to these words? A deep, inner calling. That subtle yearning for authenticity was your spirit's navigation, guiding you to exactly where you need to be. This was no coincidence. Your own essence directed you here, like an internal compass leading you to shelter. On the path of awakening, every step has meaning. What reaches you arrives at the precise moment you're ready to receive it, even if the why takes time to understand. What you're about to hear connects with your intuition, the quiet wisdom in you that senses what logic cannot. It's that undeniable feeling in your core. Now, Archangel Michael moves close. Feel him as an active presence of safety and unwavering truth. His energy is that of a steadfast protector, yet his strength is not heavy. It is a serene, stabilizing force that comforts your spirit without overwhelming it. His communication is not loud. It flows in with a profound and peaceful assurance. It is the spiritual equivalent of a blanket being wrapped around your shoulders, conveying without words, your pain is witnessed. My protection surrounds you. You can rest now. He is highlighting the significance of this chapter in your story. Beneath the very same sky, the person you hold in your thoughts is in a space of profound reckoning. This does not mean they are fragile. It signifies that a powerful emotional truth has become too great to ignore, humbling their spirit. Your physical eyes may not observe it, but your soul's awareness has already sensed the change. That unexpected tug in your chest, that sudden quiet memory, that is your intuitive self recognizing a shift in the unseen bonds we share. This sensation is a confirmation of deep connection, an indicator that realignment is occurring on a soul level. Honor this subtle signal. It is the proof of your evolving and perceptive heart. That unexplained weight in your chest, the sense that someone is holding you in their thoughts from miles away, that feeling was real. They tried to build a life that looked strong. They performed healing. They told themselves that space and passing days would quiet what they felt. They smiled for others. They stayed busy. They sat with new people, hoping a different kind of warmth would take root. But love, when left unspoken, doesn't fade. It transforms. It grows a quiet persistence, not with anger, but with honesty. At first, it's a faint whisper, like a draft under a closed door. But when silenced too long, it finds its voice. It speaks up, clear and unavoidable, insisting to be acknowledged. Now, their regret feels heavier than the quiet they chose. They revisit memories not to live in the past, but to face the question that will not leave them: why did I let go of something true? The saved pictures of you on their phone bring a warmth that aches. Old messages, once so everyday, now glow with unspoken significance. They look through contacts and faces, searching for a distraction, but their heart stills when it finds your name. Not because you are there, but because you never truly left. They've admitted the truth they feared most. The love never ended, only the courage to show it did. What looked like moving forward was really a battle within. Pride stood guard before their tenderness. Silence became a heavy suit they wore each day. Then tonight, a gentle question from their mother found a crack in the armor. A simple, "Where does your heart really live?" The defense within them dissolved. Your name surfaced, not as a statement, but as a hushed, trembling confession. Their mother didn't scold or lecture. She didn't rush to fix it. She simply sat in the quiet, witnessing her child release a truth they had carried for too long. In that soft space, without a single word of judgment, the first real breath of healing finally began. A mother senses what lives beneath words. She didn't need an explanation. She felt the gravity in the room, saw the story her child's eyes were too tired to tell. This was not a surface sadness or a passing loneliness. This was the kind of pain that settles in the spirit, the ache of a journey interrupted before its time. She kept hold of their hand while the tears did the talking. And her own tears fell quietly, not in pity, but in shared recognition of a burden too heavy to carry alone. She realized then that love hadn't made her child weak, it had made them honest. That word, soulmate, once felt like a line from her old poem. Now, she had witnessed its reality, not just two people in love, but two lives that were always meant to cross, two paths that were woven together long before the world tried to pull them apart. You've noticed the quiet hints, too. A memory that surfaces out of nowhere. A feeling, sudden and certain, that you are being thought of. A sense of presence when you are completely alone. These are not random. They are signals traveling across a bond that distance and silence could not sever. It is a thread that remains, invisible but alive, speaking through intuition when words have fallen away. Archangel Michael is bringing this to your awareness now. Not to reopen an old wound, but to show you that some bonds are not bound by time or circumstance. True connection does not always speak through closeness. Sometimes it speaks through a quiet, persistent tug on your heart, a gentle reminder of what is still true. This is what they are facing now. They are drained from pretending to be whole. They are tired of smiling through the hollow hours, of ignoring the space in their life that only you ever filled. They carry your name not as a memory, but as an unanswered question. The desire to speak is there, but it is met by a wall of fear. Fear that you have found peace without them. Fear that your door is now closed, that too much has changed. Fear that their honesty would be met with your silence. What they cannot yet see through that fear is this: you have felt the echoes, too. That unexplained warmth, that sudden thought, it was your spirit recognizing the same unbroken frequency. Their silence is not a sign that you are forgotten. It is the evidence of a thread still pulled tight between two hearts, waiting for one brave moment to give it a voice. You haven't just been wondering, you've been knowing. That pull, that memory that arrived unannounced, that wasn't chance. That was contact. The tears that fell were more than sadness. They were a release of trapped energy. Desperation softened into surrender. A confession opened a door. Pain became a signal. Love stepped forward as truth. And in the quiet that followed, a silent request was sent into the world: one more chance. The universe responds to genuine feeling more swiftly than to noise. When the heart's wall finally thins, something greater pays attention. This isn't just a feeling anymore, it's motion. What's stirring isn't just a memory, it's a possibility waking up. A thread, once loose, is being carefully gathered. A story, once paused, is being continued with new bravery. Not by your force, but by a alignment of timing, opportunity, necessary truth, and the courage to face it. Right now, they're listening to the songs you loved, not for the melody, but to feel the rhythm you both shared. They visit places you once were, not to linger in the past, but to hear the whisper of the joy that remains there. They write words to you they may never send, not to perfect a message, but to build the strength to someday send one. And their mother watches this transformation not to guide it, but to hold sacred space for it, to offer the support that finally lets the locked-away truth break free. She sees a new determination in them. She understands now that no distraction can remove a name your soul has written in its own language, a frequency deeper than sound. The universe, spirit, fate, sacred love. All these words point to one unwavering fact: what belongs to you will not remain lost. If ignored, it will surface as a quiet disturbance. When faced with honesty, it appears with clarity. And when the heart stops pretending, it demands a step forward. You are not imagining their presence in your spirit. They are not imagining yours. The miles between you were only ever geography. The bond was, and is, a matter of soul. What was unspoken is now seeking voice. What was wounded is now preparing to mend. What was left unfinished is now gathering the will to be complete. Your person is gathering the courage for a step they once avoided. A long-held truth is dawning within them, a realization that feels both eternal and intimately their own. To them, love has shifted from a concept to a lived experience. They have recognized that you were not just a person, but a home, a space where their spirit felt peace without explanation. They are coming to see that what seems absent can re-emerge, not because it was forgotten, but because it remained present, awaiting its moment. Physics speaks of particles influencing one another across vast distances. Your intuition speaks of a presence you feel across the miles. Life speaks through meaningful echoes, a melody arriving exactly when needed. Your subconscious speaks in vivid sleep, visions that carry the weight of reality. A mother's shared sorrow speaks of holy ground, where grief is met and transformed. An unmailed letter speaks of rehearsal, truth finding its form before it is shared. Shared tears speak of a shift where distance begins its journey back toward closeness. Archangel Michael stands with you now so you may feel grounded, not shaken. This moment of clarity is not intended to flood you with yearning. It is here to reveal the nature of divine timing, the tug of a soul's memory, the purpose in pauses, the power of unburdening, the language of energy, the realignment of paths, the dissolution of fear, the vision of a mother's heart, the movement of grace, the rekindling of dormant ties, the endurance of uncommon devotion, the arrival of unscripted truth, the gateway of deep feeling, the quiet longing within silence, the rebuilding of bravery, and the sacred realignment that begins when the heart whispers its truth to itself. Your path is being prepared. Not through haste, but through sacred timing. Not by strain, but by quiet resolve. Not by spectacle, but by an authentic and steady knowing. You found your way here because your inner self was listening. They unfolded because their heart could no longer pretend. Their mother now understands because her spirit knew before her thoughts could form the words. Archangel Michael now maintains a space of protection, so nothing disrupts this realignment before it is complete. The link between you was never severed. It was suspended by words unspoken. That suspension has now concluded. That conclusion has met with bravery. That bravery has become a force. And that force is now in motion. The momentum has now become action. This action pauses for a signal, a quiet proof that the feeling is mutual, before it steps into the tangible world. This confirmation will not come randomly. It arrives by sacred arrangement. It arrives through synchronicity. It arrives because what is real refuses to stay hidden. Because devotion has ended its silence. Because a parent now recognizes a link too authentic to release. Because the route is being opened for two souls who first connected beyond words to reunite in honesty. This chapter is not closing. It is opening its eyes. It is filling its lungs. It is leaving secrecy behind. It is revealing its pages. It is gathering its strength. It is making itself ready. It is turning into progress, into passage, into a whisper, into an opening, and into what is meant to be. You do not walk through this by yourself. They do not hold this by themselves. Creation is not detached. Messengers are attentive. A mother's sight is keen. And love has never ceased. Love found its sound through weeping. Weeping created an entrance. That entrance is now guiding a way, and the way leads back to the recognition your hearts have never forgotten. You are present in their quiet reflections. They are weighing thoughtfully how to re-enter your life, how to approach you again in a manner that upholds your bond with care, with regard, with integrity, and with a promise to guard your emotional well-being. For them, this is not a fleeting notion. It is a persistent calling within their spirit, a gentle petition repeated in their solitude. They intend to arrive anew, to communicate with renewed clarity, to hold this connection with better understanding, fuller patience, gentler hands, and truer words. Therefore, if a name you know resurfaces, or a note reaches you that lands with unexpected depth, if it awakens a resonance that feels older than the text, listen. Do not set it aside. This could be the earliest quiet indication of their approach, the first shift in the tide, the beginning of a dialogue once thought finished. A crossing that once appeared ashes being steadily reconstructed where eyes cannot see. They are bearing a burden they are prepared, at last, to surrender. There is a truth that must be spoken now. It has lingered in the quiet for too long. It is not simply that they still hold love for you. They also need you to understand the why, the source of the distance, the reality behind the silence. In the past, they carried a private world of hurt you never saw. To them, retreating felt like an act of care. They believed that by stepping away softly, they would spare you greater pain. That by leaving without a word, you would mend more quickly. They thought that if they hid every flaw, every fracture, every inner unraveling, you would move forward without a scar. Now, their vision is clear. Creating that space did not keep you safe. It injured you both. It formed a quiet that felt like desertion. It built walls where closeness once grew. It turned devotion into a source of grief instead of grounding. It made separation look like refusal. That choice was born from a wounded heart, not a closed one, from an exhausted spirit, not an indifferent one. Their pain was a secret. Their fear was being known. Their shame was visibility. Their aim was kindness. But the result was ache. They have learned a fundamental lesson. Love does not require perfection. It is not a prize reserved for those who have finished healing. It is not an audition for the emotionally polished. Love is the courage to turn back even while still mending. To speak even when the words tremble. To reach out even if the hand shakes. To choose even when the mind warns of falling apart. To approach not with prepared elegance, but with genuine being. To return not as a flawless person, but as a brave one, honest, open, respectful, awake, aware, emotionally present, spiritually attuned, and finally ready to be seen exactly as they are.